remaining 1 over for the tournament. 2 shots out of the lead. Now back to the tee of this 11th hole, and this is Lee Trevino, the Open champion in 1968 at Rochester, co-holder of the low scoring record for the U.S. Open, and he's 1 over. He also just 2 shots out of the lead. You hit a blind shot off this 11th tee over a hill, and then hopefully short of Cobb's Creek. Here's the landing area, and he's on the fairway. Lee Trevino, I believe, has made the fairway. I can't see it from here. ABC's exclusive color coverage of the final round of the United States Open Golf Championship will continue after this message. Bobby Nichols and Lee Trevino on the 11th hole. Trevino, we would repeat if you don't know, is the happy Mexican from Texas. Bobby Nichols caught the sand with his second shot, so he is in trouble. One of the leaders with a problem now. Remember, Jim Simons, the amateur, is still the leader here. No amateur has won this tournament in 38 years since Johnny Goodman did it in 1933. Simons 1 shot ahead of Nicholas. They'll be coming within range of our cameras very soon. Well, 2 shots back are Lee Trevino, there you see it, Bobby Nichols, and Jim Colbert. The playoff, if any, will be at 18 holes tomorrow, and you'll see it live on ABC from 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time. That possibility, a very strong one at the moment, of course. Bobby Nichols is the young man who, the flamboyant Lee Trevino. There he is. Trevino played yesterday with young Jim Simons. I walked several holes with him, and Lee couldn't have been nicer in the way he tried to keep the 21-year-old amateur Simons loose and relaxed. Jim didn't say anything at all, but Lee was kidding him, and in a way that indicated he really was trying to relax him, not to needle him at all. Bob Rosberg's gotten back into the thick of it. Remember 2 years ago at Houston, Bob Rosberg, the veteran professional, now from St. Louis, almost won the Open the year that Orville Moody took it. Trevino won it the year before. And now here's Bob Rosberg, further up on the course, the roly-poly figure of the one-time Stanford University baseball player, cross-handed grip. And, of course, you will be seeing Rosberg, but right now the order of business is a birdie putt by Lee Trevino on the 11th hole. It would put him within 1 shot of the lead. He's left it short, so Trevino will stay 1 over, 2 shots behind the leader, Jim Simons. The youngster has not cracked yet, and he's completed 9 holes. Trevino still wearing that bandage on his right forearm that hides flagstick. Now Lee Trevino on the 12th hole, playing 1 hole ahead of Nicholas and only 1 shot behind Nicholas and Jim Simons, who are tied for the lead. And it's long, but it's a good shot. That'll come back. Watch it come back. Rolling down towards the flagstick. Could come very, very close. Look at this. Lee Trevino should get himself a birdie here and go into a triple tie for the lead. That's no fluke. That happens on this green. The green tilts from back to front. And if you put it up on the top with any backspin at all, it'll do exactly that. Lee Trevino now has this for a birdie 3. If he makes it, he's tied for the lead with Nicholas and Simons. He is wearing that same red shirt that he wore when he won the Open on the last day at Rochester. Often does that when he's in contention on the final round. Trevino's tied for the lead. It's the Mexican-American, the youngster from Pittsburgh, and the great Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear from Ohio, and a triple tie for the lead. But now Nicklaus can break.
Very delicate shot over the front bunkers. Remember, this is the 13th hole. Up it comes, runs just a little, and then that backspin, which was so advantageous to him at 12. And now we're taking a look at Lee Trevino, lining up his putt on the 13th. He's got it again. That rascal has been trained. Well, the ruling here is that you have to putt the dog. I'm, of course, not serious, and now we must get serious as we go back to Trevino at 13. This is for a birdie. He has made 3 straight threes in the first 3 rounds. Looks beautiful. Oh. What can you add to that? 1 dimple on the golf ball prevented it from dropping into the cup. he would have taken over the lead. So Trevino remains even. And here it is again. Oh. Really unbelievable.
Okay, here's Lee Trevino on the 14th, tied for the lead, along with the amateur Jim Simons and Jack Nicklaus. And Dave Marr, he's in pretty A #1 position.
He's absolutely, as you can, and there you see Lee Trevino getting ready to play his second shot at 14 here. Lee's hit just perfect drive. He's in the right side of the fairway.
That is Lee Trevino, is second up here to the 14th. He's tied with the lead with Simons. Oh, and look at that shot by Lee. Tied with Simons and Nicklaus. And Lee Trevino, who tied it up at the 12th with a birdie, has about an 8-foot tricky downhill curler. You know, with about an 8 to 10 footer curling putt. It'll break right, left to right. And we have Bob Rosberg on the 18th, who is, both are shooting for birdies. Rosberg has led the Open a couple of times. We mentioned he almost won it when he missed a 3-foot putter, tied for the lead, that is, with Orville Moody when he won it. These are both for birdies, as I mentioned, and Lee Trevino on the right, if he sinks it, as Rosberg goes for his birdie, he misses. If Lee makes this one, he will go into the lead.
That is very fast there, Bud. He will just have to touch that ball ever so lightly.
You got to paint him like Gauguin or Rubens here. Is it? Is it? It is! Of Jim Simons and Jack Nicklaus.
Trevino, which took place just moments ago here at 15. Lee Trevino charging, playing dangerously here at 15. Remember, out of the bounds on left, and Trevino has flirted with the out of bounds and hit an absolutely perfect drive here at 15. He will have an opening to the flag, not having to go over more than just the corner of the bunker, as you see. As we pull back there, and here is the shot, the second shot of Lee Trevino, just moments ago. The shot carrying long and about 22 to 25 feet above the pin, where, as we watch Lee Trevino walk up to take a look at the distance he's going to have to cover with this putt, it's downhill and it's fast, Dave Marr. Dave Marr and I were watching last night, and I don't know whether you believe this or not, but Bob Erickson and Ron Reef were actually practicing their putting on the concrete. A great player in major tournaments. And we have some U.S. Open here today. Lee Trevino now looking over his putt. We've only had 6 birdies recorded here at 15 today. Again, the placement. Proof that the back nine can be had, though. Bob Charles, who came in with a 68 today, tied the lowest 9-hole score of the U.S. Open. A 30 on the back nine for Bob Charles, so much can happen here. And here is the record, which they will not break here today. A record that is co-held by this man, Lee Trevino, in 1968 at Rochester. Lee with one tournament win this year at Memphis, Danny Thomas. This putt will be just about straight in, I would estimate, Dave.
And Frank, it is so fast going down that hill. He's just going to, I'm sure, just try to get it close to the hole, because I feel like Lee's smart enough to know if he can get the clubhouse with 279, he'll be the winner here. This is really fast.
For 3 at 15, Lee Trevino. It's on his way. And it will go by. And Lee Trevino will have perhaps 5.5 to 6 feet coming back as we go quickly to Bud Palmer.
And we have Jim Simons hitting. Change.
At 15, where Lee Trevino is lining up a putt of about 5.5 feet. Lee needs this for his par to maintain his lead. Oh, so delicate for Lee Trevino. Lee Trevino with that colorful action as he gets his par here at 15 to remain our leader. And happy he is. As we go now back to Bud Palmer.
There's a 16 tee and the leader, Lee Trevino. They were going to tear this course apart, and he's the only one under par, and he's only one under par. Lee Trevino, the leader, and he's in the fairway. Probably more important at this hole than any other that you should be on the fairway because of the big trees guarding each side of the green. Now we go back to 14. Lee Trevino, there he is, playing his second from the perfect position from a long drive. Only about a 5-iron, double-tiered green. Flag on the top level. He seems cheerfully to like that one. And I don't wonder that he does. And it's a 15-footer for a birdie for Lee Trevino, attacking all these flags on the way home and leading by 1. Now to Frank Gifford.
And we'll take a look at the drive.
Only man under par at the moment, and only 1 under at that. You'll have to wait while Bobby Nichols puts a 30-yarder right up the slope. It's very fast green. And we go back to Frank Gifford for a moment.
Longhurst.
And now here's the putt. The 15-footer for a birdie for Lee Trevino. It's a very good one. Just fell away just at the very last moment. Looked to be in all the way, and a very fine putt, but it didn't make it. Just about 2 feet past, if that, but nothing is stone dead on these icy greens. To take the very greatest care. Is for his par 4. We've only had 4 threes here out of 56 players. This to stay 1 under for Lee Trevino. In the middle, well done, Trevino. He stays 1 under with 2 to play. Only 2 behind him now, Nicholas and Simons. Go back to Frank Gifford and see them.
Nicholas surveying that putt as we watch now as Trevino up on the tee has an iron. He had a bogey 4 here yesterday. He said this is the most non-birdieable hole on the golf course. To substantiate that, there have been only 2 birdies here today. So I would imagine the strategy would be just simply play for the par with a 1-stroke lead. Oh, it's a great shot. It's a little long, though. Didn't hold. Went off in the rough. Right on line. But the green just a little high. Said I hit a 3 and I can't hit a 4 there. All right, Frank. Simons is placing his ball. You're looking at Lee Trevino, who has gone a little bit long on 17. He went over yesterday and made a bogey from just a little bit farther out. But this is one of the things he does best. Oh, it's beautifully done. Sure. Only a 2-footer there for his par at 17, and let's go back to Frank for a very tense moment to preserve his par 3 at the 17th and to preserve his lead of 1 stroke. He did it. He did it with grace. So Lee Trevino, who took the lead on the 68th hole of this USGA championship, who made a fantastic putt at the 69th or the 15th, is now going to the 18th. Chris?
And what a punishing hole the 18th is. 450.
Left-hand side of the green, making it most difficult.
What a tiny slot to send that ball through.
Yes, and it heard Lee say he's choking already, so...
Choking with a one-shot lead.
He's been pretty loose all day. He says he's got to play and this other guy's choking.
He's playing, of course, with Bobby Nichols, who is 4 over on his round today.
Choking already.
This is the way that Lee loosens himself up a lot of time. If he does get tense, why he starts kidding around, and it does loosen him up a little bit. He won't take much time. He never does.
Come back, come back. No. There's a lot of fairway over there, though, isn't there?
It's off to the golfer's right.
Well, I didn't want to go left.
There's the 4 caddy who has marked just possibly on the fairway, and it'll be a testy
He will die
second shot.
he'll die a few deaths before he gets there, because it's going to be a real long iron or possibly a wood to reach this green from where he is. So it makes a lot of difference whether or not he's just in the edge of that short cliff rough or whether or not he's in the fairway.
Now back to Henry Longhurst. 40 seconds ago, Lee Trevino hit this shot, a fairway wood to the 72nd hole. Watch it. Sees coming away for a better line of sight as he knows it's going to his right, bouncing across through the green and into the gallery at the feet of that young lady in the blue culottes and the red blouse. So from there, he'll need to get down to 2 to keep his one-shot lead. Back to Henry.
To start all over again. He smiles rather ruefully. Must make it very hot. It's down to it all over again. And it's still 6 feet. Probably looked more by now. And across to Chris Schenkel.
Very important third shot by Lee Trevino, 60 feet away from the flag. A delicate touch brings him within 5.5 or 6 feet from the cup. This is the man that leads Jack Nicklaus by 1 shot here on the 72nd hole. Trevino, who beat Nicklaus at Oak Hill, tying a Nicklaus record set earlier at 275. He beat Nicklaus at Rochester by 4 shots. Now he leads him by 1. Bobby Nichols is on the green in 3. You'll recall he had to come out of the woods in the rough and put it across the fairway where he had to hit his 3rd shot out of the deep grass. Back here in a moment, here's Bill Fleming.
I'm sure that
The 72nd hole for the leader, Lee Trevino. This will be his 4th stroke. Going to the opposite side of the cup now, Byron, to get a look from that side, looking back into a very bright sun.
Yes, Chris, Lee has been playing well all day, and of course, not all day, I should say, for a long time, really, since 1968. But since 68 to now, he's won over $500,000, so it shows what a wonderful player he is in the Open or otherwise. And this putt will go just a slight bit to his right, straight in if he hits it firm.
Bill Fleming, his lead, and to be the only man under par in this championship, Lee Trevino needs to make this putt. And he was distracted, which does not often happen to Lee.
No, somebody dropped something over back of the green. Sounded like a barrel almost, Chris. But he's not easy to lose his composure. He'll take a practice swing now after being stopped. Getting ready again.
This is for his par.
Watch how still he keeps his head, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Must do it on this putt. When it really means something, the more you must be still.
If he makes this comeback putt, we have a tie. Only a little more than a foot. It's a bogey 5, which has been the story of this finishing hole, the 18th. ABC Sports and the USGA combined to bring you the finest in golf. We'll return to the Marion Golf Club in 1 moment.
USGA tent at the 18th, checking his card, as Jim Simons is far removed from that world. There's Lee Trevino looking anxiously down with Frank Hannigan, secretary of the USGA. Frank up there at the tent at the 18th, Trevino looking down the 18th, trying to get some idea of what's going on. This for the par to stay tied. He did it. Nerves of steel. And he breathes a big sigh. Well, that's it. That's 17 in the 71st hole. And now Jack Nicklaus must birdie at 18 to go.
We've got 19,000 of them out here, and over on the left-hand side, there was a kid up on the scoreboard and he fell off, but I don't want to use any excuses. I probably would have missed the putt anyway. The putter felt like it weighed 50 pounds, and the hole looked like a very small hole, and it looked like I was putting with a tennis ball there for a second, but I used a little too much club on the last hole. I used 3 wood, but this is a tremendous hole, and I didn't hit a very good drive, so I deserve a bogey, I would think.
you don't mean that at all. There's a little change since you came up in 1967 to the Open. Nobody knows who in the heck you were.
Well, I don't think anybody knows who I am yet, really. But no, I have a tremendous following throughout the United States, and I hope all my friends are watching, and I appreciate it very much. And I try and play the best I can. I've had a pretty good string going. The last 5 tournaments, I could have won all 5 of them. And when I came here and looked at this great golf course, Marion, it's a thinking man's golf course. You have to drive the ball well, you have to place it on the greens well with iron shots, and you have to putt exceptionally well. I just happen to have a good week going, and it looks like Jack is driven the ball about 400 yards on the last hole. So somebody says nobody's ever made a birdie on the last hole to win the U.S. Open before, and I hope it doesn't happen here.
Listen, stick around. We'll come back to you. Now back to Chris Shackle.
How's that for attitude? That was his 3rd stroke, and it was long. And Bud Palmer's there with Lee. What's Lee's temperature now, Bud?
I don't know what Lee's temperature is. He just waved at Jack Nicklaus. You analyze his putt at Jack, will you, Lee?
Well, I think that it's not really a difficult putt. It is a...
What's the length, do you think?
Well, it looks to me like it's about from 12 to 15 feet. I think that the putt is fairly straight. The object here is to start the ball on the right line. Now, it'll be difficult to start the ball on the right line merely because it's so fast coming down that hill. But I think he has a fairly easy putt because he doesn't have to worry about getting the ball to the hole. In other words, striking it. The only thing he's worried about here is starting the ball on the right line. So I really don't think that the putt is really that hard. I think it's harder than the one that I had, but mine was about halfway.
I think we'll see you tomorrow. We'll wait and see. Okay, Chris.
Fine.
This does the unexpected.
Byron, I know as a former Open champion, you have experienced the loneliness of being on that 18th hole.
You know what happens, Chris? What really makes us alone? All these people here, and you'll hear some noise till you get up to hit your putt. There'll be a mumble, a rumble, rumble, people, rumble, rumble. Mm-hmm. You hear all this, and all of a sudden, just about the time you get to strike it, goes dead silence. And then is when you feel that loneliness. It gets what you call deafening silence.
I'm having trouble holding this microphone, let alone holding a putter.
Well, this man has a great set of nerves, plus a great game.
Playoff with this tap-in. 18 holes tomorrow, a telecast. It will be on the air at 4:30. A par 4 for Jack Nicklaus at the 72nd hole, a bogey 5 for Lee Trevino, and things are all even. Jack Nicklaus finishing at 280, which is even par. And Byron, they did not better.
No, they didn't. It proves one thing, and what a great golf course that Marion is. It stood the test of the onslaught of the great players of the day. It stood it for 3 Open Championships, as well as all the other great tournaments have been held here. It's a marvelous golf course in great condition. It's a marvelous tournament.
Lee Trevino with a 69 today, Jack Nicklaus with a 71. And once again, the results of the 4th and regulation round, all tied. Lee Trevino at 280, Jack Nicklaus at 280. A playoff tomorrow on the air, 4:30 Eastern Time. All this on ABC.